you should dismiss this case immediately. Bragg's evidence is woefully inadequate. This case should be dismissed. It should have never been brought. And the judge is highly conflicted. He's a corrupt judge. He's highly conflicted. He's totally corrupt. And he's interfering with an election. Greg Jarrett, there is no credible evidence of a crime. Bragg's case against the accused is beyond anemic. It is an audacious, corruption of the legal process, and a very dangerous one. No fair or competent judge dedicated to upholding justice would have ever allowed such a case. It's a train wreck. And he goes on and on and on. No judge except this one would allow this case to continue. He's corrupt. Alan Dershowitz, who I think is standing right behind me. We have many people from Congress, senators, congressmen. We've had them here all week. And I say, don't come. And by the way, outside looks like it's supposed to be Fort Knox. There are more police than I've ever seen anywhere. Because they don't want to have anybody come down. There's not a civilian within 3 blocks of the courthouse. But at Columbia University, you can set up a tent and burn down the doors right opposite the front entrance. It's a disgrace. Alan Dershowitz's Trump trial is a stupendous legal catastrophe. All Americans, regardless of political affiliation, should be appalled at this selective prosecution. Today, it's a great term. I should use it now. I will. Selective prosecution. This all comes from the White House. It all comes from the DOJ in the White House. Take a look who's in the room. This all comes from the DOJ in the White House. It's an attack on Biden, who's mentally unfit. He's mentally unfit to be the president of this country.
You're listening to
on his political opponent,
Donald J. Trump. We want to give him some campaign time, some equal time, as he is banned from the campaign trail. The GOP candidate, right, against President Joe Biden is not allowed to campaign because he is ordered to be in this Manhattan courtroom. It is a travesty of American justice. Every expert says so. It's a lame, weak case. I want to point out to you, this is USA Today. This is not Fox News or anything like that, or a right-leaning publication. USA Today says, the November election is the rematch America does not want. The two oldest and among the most unpopular candidates in our history. It doesn't have to be that way. Obviously, I don't agree with half of their argument, but I think that it's important to know what USA Today is reporting. They're saying Republicans are stuck with former President Donald Trump unless he dies, which is this is a horrible thing to say on the third paragraph in, the third sentence in, unless he dies or is incapacitated medically, he's their nominee. He may have to win to stay out of jail. But there is a way for President Joe Biden to step aside, to voluntarily remove himself for the good of the nation and the party. Biden could announce anytime this summer that he is out. He could use the same logic that got him the nomination in 2020. He sincerely and accurately believed that he was the Democrat with the best chance to beat Trump. Now, he is one of the few Democrats nationally who could get Trump re-elected. That's from biased USA Today. Okay, they're clearly a left-leaning publication saying this, and then they go on to say how the battleground state polls look bad for Biden, although I will remind you that statewide polls at this juncture don't mean much to me, other than, that's very different from a national poll. But they say that the statewide polls look ugly. Biden has low support among the youth, among Black and Hispanic voters, and among crucial votes in swing states. Biden is seen as too old to serve a second term by many voters. I will say that in truth, they're saying that they keep talking about his age, but the truth is Bidenomics. Write down USA Today mentioning who? Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. If Democrats were to nominate Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, he would beat Trump like LeBron James posting up Kevin Hart. There are many others, including Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan. Not a chance, by the way. Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey. Trump would look old and unhinged next to their youthful competence and sober characters. I would say of the ones they list, I would say Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro would have the best chance. True. But Gretchen Whitmer, no way. Absolutely not. No, I disagree with that. But I love the fact that, Pennsylvania's in play, and they talk about our governor, Democrat Josh Shapiro. And we'll talk more Pennsylvania politics with our guest coming up at 10:30. But I just wanted to give you that heads up as far as even what the left-leaning media, what they're saying about DJT and about Biden. That Biden, hey, anytime this summer, you could step aside. Remember, the Republicans' convention, the GOP convention is earlier in the summer. The Democrats have the advantage of, theirs is August, right? Their convention, so in Chicago. So their convention is much later. I want to make sure that right? It's August, yeah, because I remember Hillary Clinton's was, I can't remember the dates in August, but the Democrats' convention in Chicago is much later than the Republicans, than GOP, which will be in Milwaukee. So the GOP is in mid-July. That's the GOP convention. And so does that give Democrats another option for their convention? I mean, to say, you know what, looking at these polls, there's no way we can win. We got to pull it together. That would be a shocker. I think Biden is the guy, but is that something that they're actually mulling over, that a left-leaning publication would just say, hey, you know what? You got to step aside anytime this summer. Just go for it, because they technically have, and the same with the Republicans, but I think the GOP knows that Trump is popular with Republicans. And as we move forward now that the primaries are done, I think that's pretty obvious. Trump is the man. But as far as Biden, what do you think about that? What if the Democrats at that late hour in August in Chicago said, you know what, Joe Biden, due to health and family reasons, he's going to step aside. Can you even imagine that? And then who would they put in? Josh Shapiro? Can you imagine that? 855-839-1210. I'm trying to be a little provocative here. We have the University of Pennsylvania Ivy League graduation this morning amid beefed up security. We have 3 of the 6 students who were arrested in the University of Pennsylvania. They call it protest. They're trespassers and they're anti-Jewish, anti-Israeli, but 3 of them are not allowed to go through their graduate. They're not allowed to be there today. They're banned from their graduation ceremony, 3 of them. And so they will get their diploma, but they're not allowed to walk through graduation because they were arrested. And that's the right of the University of Pennsylvania, as they just try to keep the peace on campus with this huge graduation today. So we're following what's going on here. And of course at Drexel, we've talked about all morning, Drexel University on lockdown. So many parents and students are not happy about this. They're banned from campus because of what? 40 to 60 trespass. That's what they are. We shouldn't call them protesters. We should call them trespassers. Nick brought that up this morning. Why do we call them protesters? Greg, agreeing with that. And I do too. Call them what they are. They're trespassers. And especially since the vast majority of these individuals in every situation are not current students, or former students for that matter, at the universities or campuses. Why not just make sure that you at least know that the people on your campus who are spending the night on your private property, you're allowing them to protest peacefully, in air quotes, but why not just make sure they're all active students with student IDs? Every time we see this situation, the vast majority are not actual students. They're outsiders. What if they're criminals? What if they're serial rapists or murderers? I mean, that's what I would say. That's what I would go with. I would say, well, you have to speak like them. Well, we want to make sure hate has no home here. So as long as you're not hateful, you can protest peacefully. But, we have to make sure it's a super safe space. So we've got to see your, student IDs to make sure you're actually all students, because those of you who are not students, you're not allowed to trespass on our private property. So you could get around it that way. 855-839-1210. I only have a couple more minutes here. I do want to get a little bit with Trump. 2 locations. One, accepting and this is a no-brainer. I mean, we knew this would happen, but a huge endorsement from the NRA. He was in Texas. And then we have Trump on Friday in Minnesota, don't you know, Friday night, after, of course, Barron Trump graduated high school. I love the pictures and all these parents. And I tweeted this out. I don't care who you are, if you're a former president, current president, first lady, former first lady. When your kid is graduating high school, you know, all of those parents and grandparents, you see the pride in their faces. You see the emotion. Your baby is graduating. I loved it. I love seeing it. So congratulations, Mr. President, Mr. and Mrs. Trump. Let's listen in. What do you want to start with, Anthony Dorenzo? You want to start with Trump in Minnesota, or do you want to start with Trump at the NRA accepting their endorsement?
Yeah, let's start with this was Trump in Minnesota on Friday. Listen in.
But Americans are not struggling. You know, this is the worst platform. Who put this stage up here? This is the worst. The frickin' place is falling down. It keeps tilting further left. Like too many other things. What a crappy contractor this was. He's all about disinformation. Pilots come in, he said, I used to fly a plane. Truckers come in, I used to drive a truck. People come in from Minnesota, I used to live in Minnesota. Right? He is so full of this guy. Terrible.
Yeek.
No,
so
fake Tapper
he's talking about fake Tapper, you know, has been announced by CNN as hosting the first of the presidential debates in June. But, you know, one of Politico's headlines, why Trump keeps dreaming he can flip Minnesota. Why would he go to Minnesota? Again, you think of places like Minnesota. I think he's not taking anything for granted. I think that once he gets through this week with being forced to be in Manhattan, I think that he'll make 2 campaign stops. I think he'll be in Pennsylvania much more. I surely hope he'll be in Pennsylvania a lot. And even though Greg Stocker keeps saying, why even campaign in New Jersey? Why even campaign in New York, for example, or Minnesota? I think Trump is saying to these individuals who feel like Biden has left them behind for a multitude of reasons, whether you're African American, whether you are an Hispanic American, or whether you are a legal immigrant, whether you are a union member, and you feel that Biden really did not deliver, and you know that Biden is going to push for those EV contracts, even though he says he's backing off. They're going toward the EV contracts, which means less union jobs. So I think he's taking nothing for granted. That's my take on that one. All right, let's hear him speaking to the NRA. This one is Trump speaking in Texas, and obviously a very friendly crowd here, as the NRA loves Trump.
That's their current form of cheating. And this never happened in the United States before. This happened with this horrible president who's just he's destroying our country. He's destroying our country. He's a horrible human being, too. And then they go, you know, it's all disinformation. His biggest disinformation, he's a non-athlete, okay? I'm a very good golfer. I really am. Won 29 club championships. That's a lot, 29 club championships. And he can't play. And he said the other day, it's all disinformation. I'll play Trump anytime. I'll give him 3 aside. He's going to give me 3 aside. Did you ever see him swing? He's like this. The guy, I don't believe he can hit a ball 50 yards. I I know sports very well, and I know golf very well, and I know good golfers. I can look at a guy take a practice swing before the round starts. I can tell you whether or not he or she can play. This guy has no... And he said, they asked him what his handicap is. I'm a 6.2. 6.2. You know, 6.2 is a very good player. He's a 6.2. It's got to be that extra little 0.2. You know, like, I've never even heard of it. I played only about 40 frickin' years. I've never heard of a 6.2. I've heard of a 6. I've heard of a 7. But I've never heard of a 6.2. But he wants to make it, like, accurate. You know, like, in other words, like it exists. He's all about disinformation. Pilots come in, he said, I used to fly a plane. Truckers come in, I used to drive a truck.
Is that the angriest he's been at Biden just because it's about golf? Like, I feel it's like reminds me of like Nick Cale's energy on the course. You know?
I think that he's, you know, I like these lighter moments, and that's why I think we want to play him, because the left wing media wants to make him look like some crazy right wing nut job. So he's having fun with the crowd, and it's a friendly crowd here. He did say, you know, our country's going down and we're failing nation right now, and we're in turmoil. He also, you'll see in the headlines, real quick here because I have to take a break, but he's in the headlines for talking about a third term. When he references in that, if you heard the whole speech, and obviously we're not going to play it, and he's speaking to the National Rifle Association on Saturday, what he's saying is technically it's a third term because he's having, you know, he's tongue in cheek, but he's saying, hey, you know, if you believe that Stop the Steal, that he won last time, then this would be his third term. He's not talking about 4 years after this November, or after this January. That's not what he's referring to. So it's all within the context of, hey, they're doing mail-in ballots, and they're trying to steal the elections any way they can. The context is everybody needs to get out and vote, so it's too big to steal. That's the context. And so he's not saying that he would run again. That's not it at all. So we listened to poor Anthony and I, we listened to I'll go through all this just like Greg does. We listened to all of these speeches and all of the sound. So we're just giving you the context there, even though he goes, FDR did 16 years. And then in the end, he says, no, I don't want to run again after this time. He makes it obvious. So I'm just giving you the context. I'm letting you know what somebody's going to say. Well, he said again, he's going to run again, and he's not going to. No, that's not what he said. Please. All right. I got to go because we have David Osborne, Commonwealth Foundation, putting a lot of this in context for us. It's very important. So we'll ask him about some of Biden's statements and Trump's statements. We got it all for you. Be right back.
It's in my smile, breaking through the grease paint. It's in my dog.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
We're only 9 weeks away from the Bend to the Shore bike tour. It's coming back again.
Oh, no.
It's time to start revving it up. We're going to have Team 1210 again. I'm looking forward to it. The guy who trained me last year, the great Dave Madden, sent me a text yesterday. I told him right after Memorial Day, we'll start training again. We'll get about a 4 to 6 week training camp in. The only question is, will the debates go off, or will Stalker get on the bike and do the 65 miles?
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Cancer, a scary word, but not so scary if you have the right team. Hi, this is John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sundays at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. And that team is Dr. Molly Fantasia and the medical staff at Innovative Medical Associates. Yes, cancer is a scary word and a difficult condition if you've been diagnosed. Over the years, the staff at Innovative Medical Associates has helped hundreds of patients with their unique medical hydration protocols. Cancer support is a large part of the practice at Innovative Medical Associates.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Talk about improving your quality of life. Most likely, that'll happen when you visit Innovative Medical Associates. Check them out on the web at innovativemedicalassociates.com or call 856-489-0505 to schedule your initial complimentary consultation.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I'm Philomena, founder of Kin Apparel here in Philly. I love my natural hair, but not what hoodies and hats were doing to it. So I made my own satin-lined hoodies and created a business in the process. I've got big dreams, and Chase for Business in Philly was like, all right, how do we get you there?
Get financial guidance from bankers in your community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Baseball season is heating up. With the free Odyssey app, you can get the most entertaining local coverage of your team while you're at work or on the go. Stay locked in and in the know with your favorite hosts as they bring you unfiltered takes, react to the latest team news, and talk to callers. Don't miss any of the action. Stream the shows you love live or on demand with the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Download it today for free.
Do you have a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more that you don't need? Well, don't lapse or surrender your policy. You might be sitting on a gold mine. That's right. You may be able to sell all or part of your life insurance policy to Coventry for cash, or a combination of cash and coverage with no future premiums, even a term policy. Call Coventry Direct at 800-411-8300 or visit coventrydirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. For over 25 years, we've helped thousands of people sell their policies. And we can probably help you, too. Call us today at 800-411-8300 or visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. That's 800-411-8300. Call now.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Here's a great tip for spring. Go with the sure thing. PJ Fitzpatrick has been your trusted roofer for over 40 years. They've earned thousands of 5-star reviews and back all new roofs with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. The PJ Fitzpatrick team of experienced professionals installs most roofs in just one day. Set up a free design consultation this month to save thousands. Plus, they're extending the 12-month financing deal. Nothing down, no interest, and no payments for qualified buyers. Visit trustpj.com today.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
We talked a lot this morning in Kale and Company about Joe Biden, his commencement address, which raises a lot of eyebrows, his poll numbers, Bidenomics. But what about the teachers union? He has to keep the teachers union in line. It's a huge issue here in Pennsylvania, and we've talked a lot about Governor Josh Shapiro, who made that promise with, the Lifeline scholarships. It was a campaign promise, but Shapiro's fellow Democrats were the ones, Matt Bradford, Montgomery County, forced that issue and said, no way. We're not gonna have Lifeline scholarships for the poorest students in the poorest performing areas and schools. So you've got to line item veto that. The Democrats need the NEA. There's a real marriage there, and it's very important to the Democrats' survival that they get this unanimous support from the union and from teachers. We've talked a lot about it. So let's get to our next guest, and this is David Osborne, Commonwealth Foundation, who, I've interviewed multiple times before. But David Osborne is somebody who is the senior fellow for labor policy in particular with the Commonwealth Foundation. And David's also an attorney who you have heard speak eloquently on these issues. Good morning, David. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, good morning, Dawn.
So what do you make of, for example, the NEA, obviously largest labor union in America, I believe, and releasing these, poll questions and talking about, making some statements about Biden that are raising a lot of eyebrows. What do you make of this?
I think the teachers' unions have to be part of the reason that you see Biden going back and forth on questions surrounding Israel and Hamas. I mean, the NEA has long been calling for a ceasefire, which is another way of saying that Hamas should win. Has been calling for a ceasefire maybe since October. And AFT is the same way. So Becky Pringle at the National Education Association, you're right, the largest teachers union in America, and her little sister, Randy Weingarten at the American Federation of Teachers, they're firmly on the side of Hamas in this conflict. And, whatever you want to say about the merits of it, and I want to return to that in a second, my basic concern here is that teachers teachers who have a range of different opinions on this are stuck with a union that seems to have only one opinion all the time about it. And they're in a very powerful position to direct policy, foreign policy, and in a legal position to be able to speak for teachers, even if those teachers don't actually agree with them.
Yeah. It's startling. And this one of them that, they say that Biden has given Benjamin Netanyahu billions of dollars in weapons, including 2,000-pound bombs that have killed tens of thousands. This is from the NEA. Killed tens of thousands. Can you just talk about what these statements are? I think the average person has not heard these details, David.
Yeah. So the NEA, the National Education Association, is really trying to bolster its position on the war. And what they're doing is trying to use their leadership and even their membership to do it. So if the National Education Association can say that its members believe X, then, Joe Biden has to listen to that, not just because it's the NEA, but because it's a lot of money and it's a lot of teachers and educators who are otherwise pretty vocal about these issues. So here's what they did. They sent around a survey that asked educators for their opinions on different matters. And I just have to read the question that they're sending around right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the question. It sounds a lot more like statements, but here's the question. Biden has given Benjamin Netanyahu billions of dollars in weapons, including 2,000-pound bombs that have killed tens of thousands of civilians in Gaza. He continues to support Israel's war in Gaza, even though they've killed 14,000 children and babies, and children are starving to death. Okay, now you're welcome to take the survey here. Rank your level of concern about this. 1, very serious concerns. 2, serious concerns. 3, minor concerns. 4, no real concerns. And 5, not sure. Now, we've already fed you, by framing the question this way, fed you a bunch of information that may or may not be true, but then we're asking you whether you're concerned about it. And, only Hitler wouldn't be concerned about this. This is highly concerning, and yet that doesn't really tell Joe Biden what to do about it. It may very well tell Joe Biden to fund the war on Israel's side to end this thing as quickly as possible. To go into Rafah, to take over, to take control of this thing and end this conflict. Well, that's not the way the NEA is going to frame this. What they're going to do is say, look, 90% of our membership is either seriously concerned or very seriously concerned about what's going on. You need to stop this and ultimately to call for a ceasefire.
Yeah, so
the NEA is not alone in this. Sorry, go ahead, Dawn.
Yeah, I think this is I wonder, David Osborne, why this isn't in the mainstream headline. CNN should be talking to the NEA. They should be doing interviews about this and getting this on the record and putting this out. Isn't it interesting? They're not doing all these interviews because
they get interviews every once in a while, but these teachers unions officials only say yes to the puff interviews. Mm-hmm. The interviews with Jones and publications like that are going to give only their side of things. So they've been vocal, but it's only vocal in certain places and with a really non-critical press.
And this is all part of their International May Day, right? They're doing this big 2024 online rally. This is all part of that, right? Correct?
Oh yeah. And the NEA is not alone. There are unions across America that are involved in our public policies that are doing things like filing unfair labor practice charges or filing grievances under collective bargaining agreements over the treatment of some of their protesting students. This is an effort that goes across all unions, and it's just another tie between the left and Hamas and ultimately terrorism abroad. Very strange stuff.
And I'm assuming they're not talking about October 7th or even over the weekend. We just had the tragic news of more identifications of hostages whose families believed that and prayed that they were still alive, and we learned that their bodies had been found by the IDF, by soldiers somewhere down in deep dark caves. So I'm assuming they're not putting questions about the Israeli the Jewish hostages still being held.
Well, no. The story that they tell is the same one that Hamas is telling. And the story is, if only Israel had not done X, then none of this stuff would have happened. And that's part and parcel of the union story these days. Look, the real tie between unions and organizations like Hamas is one about power. Both of them really believe that power is the ultimate, it ultimately decides who's right or wrong in a particular conflict, not, for instance, morality. So if one has power, one is always wrong. And the one that's fighting against power, the union or Hamas, is the one that is righteous, just like the rebels in Star Wars. If you play dark enough music when you show the Empire, they're automatically the bad guy. And these rough and tough, scrappy little fighters who are ultimately getting arrested and put into jail, or ultimately losing the conflict against Israel, then those are the ones who look like the rebels and look like the one that are on the side of right.
I guess when I
there's a woman.
Go ahead.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Dawn. There was a woman named Lisa Fithian. I wasn't completely aware of how in bed unions were with some of these protests across the country until I noticed in an article that someone named Lisa Fithian, a 63-year-old woman, was arrested on Columbia's campus. Mm-hmm. And this woman was actually barring some of the doors to a Hamilton Hall when they barricaded things there. And, it's odd to see a 63-year-old woman protesting with all these students. But if you know anything about Lisa Fithian, she's what they call a protest consultant. And her bills are paid for by union activists and other progressive organizations so that they can sort of professionalize some of these protests. She used to work directly for SEIU, one of the biggest public sector unions in America, and they call her Professor Occupy because she's been involved in these things for decades and has been arrested something like 80 to 100 times.
I know
the unions are not just supportive; they're directly involved in this thing.
Well, I think that for the average person, when you look at this, first of all, I know that you had written the Commonwealth Foundation in one of your reports. I think it was, I'll say late last year, maybe early this year, and you had said how much the unions pumped into, the Democrat Party causes nationwide, and it was, the $700 million pumped in. Just because the Commonwealth, you give us the numbers and those raw numbers, which I think is important. But I think the average person would say, well, why would teachers or union workers, why would they get involved in something like, talking about Benjamin Netanyahu and where? How does that happen?
Well, I mean, that's the ultimate problem. So I'm all for free speech. I've filed a lot of lawsuits over free speech. Sometimes I'm filing lawsuits for people with whom I vehemently disagree. So there are organizations on the right and the left who have plenty of opinions about these issues. It's an important issue. They should be allowed to speak, and the government shouldn't be allowed to shut them down. But teachers' unions are not on par with other interest organizations. Teachers' unions and other unions that represent public sector employees, they're handed a monopoly under the law to represent a group of workers. So in any given school setting, you've got members and non-members of the teachers union, but all of them are represented by the union, something a lot of people don't appreciate. The concept is called exclusive representation. And as a function of this model, this monopoly model, the teachers union really does speak for all teachers when it opens its mouth. And it collects money from all teachers. So when a teachers union is active on the world stage, they're claiming something. It's technically true. They do represent all teachers. And yet, if you were to take a legitimate poll of all teachers, you're going to find a wide range of opinion. And yet, they're being represented by one person at the top who claims to have representative authority over them and has very strong opinions in exactly one direction. So most of the political spending, I'm talking like 96% of the political spending from the teachers unions goes to Democrats. And even if you think that teachers are, by and large, Democrats, the number's more like 60-40, maybe 70-30 Democrat-Republican. it's not 96-4. And unfortunately, a lot of these teachers don't really realize what's happening with their money. And even worse, politicians don't realize that there's a range of opinion within these teachers unions, and that they really shouldn't believe teachers union officials when they're speaking like this.
And so when you look at something like this, and you're somebody as an attorney, as somebody who's an expert on labor policy, what's the answer, honestly, for teachers? I don't know that unless you work, and I mean, even in Florida, which is a right to work state, my friends who are teachers, they're still in the union, right? So how do you get around this to give those teachers and educators a choice as far as which union would actually represent them? I don't see this changing.
Sure. Well, yeah, and you'll actually see some teachers vote for or create their own separate union. It's happening in Miami-Dade County right now down in Florida. But as soon as that union becomes legitimized, gets the vote of the teachers, for instance, they end up affiliating with the teachers union. I mean, it's like the Walmart of teachers union, of union. It'll take over. So I think that, look, I'm an incrementalist. There are a lot of ways to fix this problem, but I think the easiest, most non-controversial thing to do is to give public employees a vote to re-elect their unions on a periodic basis. Something that some states have enacted. It's called recertification. And the concept is that every few years, a union would have to, regardless of whether people support it or not, would have to run for re-election. People would actually have to vote in a secret ballot election to keep the union. And they can vote for another union, or they can vote for no union at all. That would seem to me to be a way to capture some of the accountability that these unions need. Some unions, when they come into power, and many of them did in the 1970s, they actually never have to face another re-election vote. So that now it's been 50 years, and some unions have never had to face re-election. Almost 100% of the teachers haven't had a chance to vote on whether that union should represent them or not. And we did a study a few years ago in Philadelphia. There was one person left. She was a librarian. She's probably since retired, who actually got to vote for the union when it came in the 1970s.
Wow.
So let's just restore a little bit of the accountability and the representativeness of these unions if we're going to continue to have them.
And so, this, let me just, I'm just going to zoom out for a moment, because I started out this morning, I was talking about Joe Biden and USA Today with this article that said, hey, Joe Biden is so unpopular, he could do the right thing for the Democrats, and he has all summer, he could just, for family reasons, whatever, resign. And their number one choice to run against Trump would be Governor Josh Shapiro, who's a very popular 57+% approval rating here in Pennsylvania, and a lot of Republicans, I think 42% of Republicans like him. So then I think about the issue that we're talking about here, where Josh Shapiro is, you and I have talked about this, what happened with the Lifeline scholarships, but because of the pressure from the teachers union and fellow Democrats, he line item vetoed that. And I just, I couldn't wrap my brain because I've known him, I knew him from local politics in Abington. I'm like, really? I'm just shocked that he actually, he lied. I mean, he went back on his promise and even line item veto. Is this why? Because of the teacher? I mean, is this because perhaps in the back of his mind, he knows the power of this union, this national power? Because he's really popular here in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, Governor Shapiro would have to give up his presidential ambitions to support school choice. I mean, he is going to have to do something that's brave and courageous. He's going to have to throw his political will around. And ultimately, I think he's going to be better off for it, and so would the state of Pennsylvania. But he's going to have to reckon with the fact that these teachers' unions decide who the next president is.
So
he's also
that's a
really
strong
smart
statement.
guy.
I mean, that's a strong statement that you just made, that Josh Shapiro looking at USA Today. He's looking at USA Today. He's right now they're negotiating this, right, in Harrisburg. And here's USA Today with who's the number one choice Joe Biden just let Josh have at it, and he's now thinking, what do I do? And you're saying he would have to, the teachers union nationally would say, Josh Shapiro, you are dead to me if you go for this little Lifeline scholarship program for the poorest children in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because once the unions believe that someone would support school choice, they know that they have a mind of their own. They can cross the unions at a moment's notice when politics or policy show that it's the right thing to do. Yeah, it's something he really needs to contend with. And I'll tell you, he's smart. And one of the things I noticed in his budget address, I went through and did a Control F word search through his budget address. The word union came up once, maybe twice. He doesn't refer directly to these public sector unions. The only times they came up was when he was referring to trade unions, which are by and large pretty popular, a little bit less controversial, happen to represent a lot fewer people, even in Pennsylvania. And he'll refer instead to teachers' unions by calling them something like stakeholders or part of the community. He knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So it's a dog whistle to the unions, but it's a way of, avoiding this question to the Republicans who really have his number but can't prove it to the general public.
David Osborne, Senior Fellow for Labor Policy, Commonwealth Foundation. David, until next time, we always thank you so much for your expert analysis of this situation. It's fascinating.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
Thank you, David. David Osborne. And only David would do the search and go through the budget address, right, and figure that out. I love that kind of detail for sure. But, yeah, so I don't see Josh, based on what David said, do you think there's any chance for these Lifeline scholarship programs? Put it in your prayers. Honestly, I think prayer is probably the only hope at this point. 855-839-1210. That's a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that. We have great guests moving forward, and guess what? A little surprise for us this Monday because my husband, Larry Menti, is going to give us a call from the road, so he'll call in about 11:25. But we do have up ahead. We'll update you on all things with policing in America, and our friend Sergeant Betsy Brantner-Smith will be joining us in the next hour, so I got to take a quick break. This is The Dawn Show. I appreciate you. Happy Monday. I'm finally getting over this. What is day 11 with the allergies and the cold? I hope you're not suffering with these allergies. Wow, it's been crazy. 855-839-1210. We'll be right back.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be in topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Connecticut water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Connecticut system improves all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap? Crystal clear, all natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com. Be sure to tell them Dom sent you.
Hey, this is Mike Quick. If you're in the restaurant, hospitality, or casino business and your point of sale system isn't helping you sell more, earn more, or work less, you need to talk to my friends at PDQ Signature Systems. PDQ has everything you need for success. PDQ POS is the fastest, easiest, and most reliable POS system available. Whether you have a single location restaurant or thousands of locations, Joe Flynn and his team will create a custom game plan that will help your business succeed. Visit PDQPOS.com.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts? At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Hi everyone, Matt here from Emmons Roofing and Siding. There are a lot of companies out there that say they do roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Some good, some not so good. Be careful of those that say buy two, get two free. Does that really make sense? Think about it. At Emmons, we don't offer gimmicks, just quality products installed by our experienced craftsmen. We do offer 12-month same as cash financing though. That's not a gimmick. That's because we know how tough it is for some people right now to get these projects done. If you need roofing, siding, or windows and doors, call us for a free estimate today at 856-885-6677 or visit us at callemmons.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices, plus an additional $1,000 Costco discount on all new Cherry Hill Volvos. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become a valued part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-6641. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-688-6641. That's 800-688-6641. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Ad paid for by AG Marketing Group. Attention timeshare owners. If you need to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, please listen to the following message. Getting out of a timeshare commitment is not easy, and it takes time. But we specialize in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares forever. Can't get the vacation dates that work for you? Maybe you felt taken advantage of or forced into the timeshare? Maybe you just can't continue to shoulder those monthly payments any longer. If you need to eliminate your timeshare commitment, then you need to take down this number, 800-866-7061. We will safely and legally get rid of your timeshare payments forever, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't continue to let your timeshare be a financial burden to you and your loved ones. Call us now at 800-866-7061. The call is free, the consultation is free. Call 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Again, 800-866-7061.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Ethan is in New Jersey. He wants to talk about the protesters at Drexel.
It's very easy for people to say free Palestine or from the river to the sea or whatever they're saying. Scariest thing for me is that a lot of these people don't know what they're talking about.
Ethan, we appreciate the call. Thank you very much, buddy. How about that? Well, not too often we get high school graduates 18 years old calling into the show. Yeah. I think that's another demo we're kicking ass in.
By the way, guys, another good month.
Yeah, I know.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app. Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So just for example, it's amazing to me that, did you know the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers, the union, I guess wanted paid parental leave, but they really don't get it. They have to take time off, family leave, but they don't get for, mostly women. That's amazing to me. But that's the teachers union, what they fight for and what they choose to fight hard for, I guess, is not parental leave or if you have a baby. I can't even imagine that. Some of your thoughts, and we're getting some calls from people who are educators, 855-839-1210. Hey, Tom. Tom's calling in from Booth Wynn.
Yeah, hi, Dawn. Thanks for taking my call. Dawn, it's not every day you get to semi-correct a lawyer, but in Pennsylvania, public school teachers do not have to be in the union. They can choose not to pay dues, so you're not in the union, and that's the only way you're going to fight the teachers union, because they're 100% liberal Democrats. They're just so over the top. Anybody who's a conservative or a Republican A couple years ago, there was a Supreme Court case that allowed us to quit the union and not pay dues. And more teachers that I know are doing it. And that's the only way to fight these guys, because you're never going to get another union. They're in forever. So the only way to fight them is to defund them.
Yeah, I mean, I think as far as that goes, though, there's a level of intimidation, right? I mean, isn't that part of it?
They try, but we're all grown adults, and it's like, if you don't want to give money to the Democrat Party, don't pay union dues. It's that simple. And it was a big argument where I worked, and finally we all got the chance to not pay union dues, and we even offered to pay the local dues for the the union people who negotiate our contracts with the local school board. The union said, no, you have to pay everything, the national dues and the local dues. So it's corrupt. The teachers union is one of the most corrupt institutions in America. And if people knew what they did and what they spent, people would be very upset, I'm sure. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents worth. Great show. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks a million. Yeah, it's a great information as far as Pennsylvania, every state. I just think most people feel intimidated and don't realize that all provisions of the collective bargaining agreement between the union and your employer continue to govern your employment. So according to the ruling, your wages, your health benefits, your retirement, anything else is governed by the collective bargaining agreement, which would remain unchanged even if you opt out of, AFT-PA. So good for Pennsylvania as far as that goes. All right, I got to take a quick break. 855-839-1210. We'll continue the conversation with Sergeant Betsy Brantner-Smith. She will be along to, talk to us about law enforcement, the state of law enforcement, as the Dawn Show continues.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
We're only 9 weeks away from the Bend to the Shore bike tour. It's coming back again.
Oh, no.
It's time to start revving it up. We're going to have Team 1210 again. I'm looking forward to it. The guy who trained me last year, the great Dave Madden, sent me a text yesterday. I told him right after Memorial Day, we'll start training again. We'll get about a 4 to 6 week training camp in. The only question is, will the debates go off, or will Stalker get on the bike and do the 65 miles?
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Stockbrokers love to paint themselves as transparent, but if you are not aware of all the fees taken out of your portfolio, can you really trust your broker?
I am Nancy Harding. This is my husband, Robert, from Glen Mills, Pennsylvania.
When Wall Street hides fees, you are being lied to because they're taking part of your money that you didn't know was going to be taken. Transparency is a word that's really batted around a lot and seldom seen. Crash Proof makes their transparency obvious by recording the meetings. They're demonstrating we have nothing to hide.
All the things that were said become legally binding. Wall Street wouldn't record their meetings. They don't want whatever is said in that office to be legally binding. And so it's a little too dangerous for them to record.
Learn why recording financial meetings is the only way to guarantee legally binding transparency for your retirement future. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the William Penn Inn on June 11th. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
There are any number of reasons you might consider selling your home. To move closer to family, live within a smaller budget, or just wanting a change of scenery. Whatever your reasons, having to figure out all the various housing market trends in your area may not be what you signed up for. That's where an agent who is a realtor comes in. Realtors have the expertise to help you find the right price and navigate the process to sell your home in a way that's right for you. That's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Listen to Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Learn about investing, tax strategies, and more. Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sunday mornings at 9.
Get slimmer for the summer by losing a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to njdiet.com. Get ready for spring with njdiet.com.
Have you questioned your doctor about symptoms like low energy, digestive issues, brain fog, joint pain, just not feeling right, just something is off, and you're only left settling for unanswered questions, or worse, being told it's just because you're getting older? You don't have to settle for unanswered questions any longer. With Younger Me MD's exclusive VIP membership program, aging doesn't have to make you feel older. Their proven 3-step process and functional medicine approach helps you discover the underlying causes of your issues. As a member, you get access to high-level personalized treatment plans, as well as discounts on treatments and supplements. If you're ready to live the life you deserve, it's time to learn about Younger Me MD's VIP membership program. Call 445-266-4024. 445-266-4024. That's 445-266-4024. And schedule your consultation with Younger Me MD.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started Wesley Financial Group to do one thing: help people get out of their timeshare nightmare. When you buy a timeshare, the timeshare company can raise your annual maintenance fees at will. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Want out of your timeshare? Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
Splash into savings this Memorial Day with Spring Dance Hot Tubs. Soak in the relaxation and save big on new Hot Spring and Caldera Hot Tubs and save up to $4,000. Plus, when you buy a new Endless Pool Swim Spa, receive a free Aqua Bike and Exercise Kit, a $2,000 value. Looking to upgrade? Your hot tub could be worth up to $4,000. Hurry into Spring Dance Hot Tubs in Jameson, Exton, or in Plymouth Meeting in PA or in Marlton, New Jersey, and upgrade your backyard this summer. Visit us online at springdancehottubs.com for more details. Don't miss out on these incredible savings.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Locally on Drexel's campus, Drexel University, they are on lockdown because of these anti-Israeli protesters. And right now, as I speak, the University of Pennsylvania is holding its graduation this morning amid beefed up security, Philadelphia police assisting university police as they just amid all the threats, attempted break-ins over the weekend and so on. They just want to keep the campus safe for graduation today. Good morning, Dawn Stensland here. Thank you for joining me on The Dawn Show, 855-839-1210, at Dawn Stensland on Twitter, X, if you ever want to sound off. But let's get to our friend, Sergeant Betsy Brantner-Smith, National Police Association, as we think about all the police that have to guard these colleges. It may be a long, hot summer, and I know that, Betsy, you also want to talk about this FBI violent crime data, which, to no surprise to us, was higher than expected and reported, I should say. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dawn. Yeah, we're up to 3,000 arrests nationwide of pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian, pro-terror, really, protests and demonstrations, and which, of course, some have evolved into riots and campus takeovers. And it's ironic Because remember, a lot of these campuses just a few short years ago said that we've got to get police off of our campuses because police are dangerous. And as we've seen in the last several weeks, college campuses across the country are saying, we need more police. On different campuses, you've seen a combination of campus police, county police, state police, local police, and they're disrupting what should be a wonderful celebration for most students graduating college, whether it's a bachelor's degree, master's, doctorate. You've seen these bizarre interruptions, and I think you're absolutely right. We're going to see this all summer long.
Yeah, everybody, even as we look at the University of Pennsylvania and you see Franklin Field, it's just surrounded by, fencing that they brought in, all the barricades, all the police vehicles, the apparatus, because obviously after the weekend, there is an uneasy feeling that somebody will try to do something, some terror group. And I think that leads us into, the next question, which is about these FBI stats and the attempt to put public relations and marketing, if you will, about the reality of the danger that we're in as far as what's going on, and sometimes put PR and marketing ahead of letting people know the information that's real, that's happening.
Well, that's exactly it. We're seeing manipulation in crime statistics, some intentional, some unintentional. One of the problems that we have is the reporting of crime statistics by local and state law enforcement is down significantly. So, prior to 2019, for example, we had over 90% cooperation with agencies reporting accurately, their crime statistics to the federal government. This is through the Uniform Crime Reporting, it's called. Now that's down to about 67%. And part of it is, again, this goes back to defund the police. When you defund the police, they don't have personnel to do the administrative work. So you don't have personnel. You got to have personnel answer 911 calls and get in patrol cars and do things. And so we've got that. We also are finding that people aren't reporting crime even when they've been victimized. Up to 43%. And again, this is from the federal government. The DOJ is from another arm of their statistics gathering entities. Up to 43% of crime doesn't even get reported. And why not? Because people are losing faith in the justice system. Why would I report a crime that I know is not going to get investigated? Nobody's going to get prosecuted for it. And a lot of quote-unquote nonviolent crimes, including burglaries of homes and things like that, that's just an email report anymore. You don't even get a police officer that comes and does an investigation and does forensic work and things like that. It's an email report. The crime victim, initiates it. So a lot of people just throw up their hands and say, forget it. I'm not going to bother. And, and yet we're also finding out that police officers are being attacked on an increasingly high level. Our average of getting assaulted is about 60,000 assaults a year. We're going to be up to nearly 80,000 assaults of police officers annually, and we've had almost 150 cops already shot this year. Officer ambushes are up. All of that is up. It's not just crimes against our citizens. It's crimes against law enforcement.
We're just coming off National Police Week, all last week of 2024, a significant week when, I think for me, I know it means different things to different people. For me as a civilian person, I know that there are many, as we think about survivors, we think about those who have protected and served and made the ultimate sacrifice like you're just talking about. Just just being appreciative. But what is National Police Week? What's the significance of that week for law enforcement as far as training, coming together, feeling supported?
You know, nearly 40,000 people gathered in Washington, D.C. last week to honor law enforcement. This is National Police Week has been something that's been happening since the 60s, since JFK signed Peace Officers Memorial Day into law. And this year, we honored an additional 282 police officers onto that National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Wall, bringing the total to a stunning 24,067 names on that wall. And Dawn, you personally have dealt with many of these survivors, you know, over the decades of your support for law enforcement. But this is a time for us to gather. We do our candlelight vigil, you know, on the first night. That we've been doing that for 36 years, and that's incredibly somber. And but then there's a lot of celebration that happens with music and fellowship. A lot of those 40,000 people that show up, police officers, both current and retired, families, parents, kids. This is the one time a year they see each other, and there's a lot of businesses that throw open their doors to these families and these survivors and these law enforcement officers. Anybody in law enforcement comes in uniform. There's Tent City where you can go and support different vendors, but it's really it's just the most fascinating atmosphere you've ever seen in your life, and people leave there feeling. A lot of people leave there feeling really renewed. We have there's a lot of peer support teams that come. So you know, because you and I have talked a lot about this police officer mental health. Those peer support teams come there, and a lot of police officers who really never dealt with their grief come there. Connect with these peer support teams and really get the help that they've been needing for months and sometimes years, sometimes decades. I mean, our peer support teams at Police Week save lives, and it's an extraordinary atmosphere.
Yeah, I love seeing those images, and just an empowering week, hopefully, for law enforcement. You know, I know that you had spoken out about different municipalities. We had a situation here in Montgomery County where the police department had to really fight for the right to have a thin blue line police flag honoring those, all those who protected and served, but honoring the memory of those who made that ultimate sacrifice. You know, ahead of July 4th, and you think about, Memorial Day upcoming, just your thoughts about the fact that we still have these battles going on locally and across the nation over a flag, a symbol that empowers law enforcement.
Yeah, we just had inexplicably in Merriam, Kansas, we just had their city council to vote to remove the thin blue line flag honoring fallen police officers from their annual. They do a Flags for Freedom exhibit. The city does, and it was just extraordinary that they decided to remove the thin blue line flag because a councilman said that a city-sponsored event should be mindful of any ambiguous messaging, intentional or not. And I actually got contacted by a reporter, and he called me, and I was truly appalled. There's nothing ambiguous about the thin blue line flag. It honors fallen police officers, but this suburb of Kansas City, Kansas, decided to take down the thin blue line flag because of since about 2018, there's been a tiny minority of people who have said that, this is some sort of symbol of white supremacy. And then after the Trump presidency, they tried to pin that on us again. And it's disgusting. And So we're putting some pressure on Merriam, Kansas. And you can read all about it on my Twitter feed and on the National Police Association's Twitter feed. But it was so, not only was it just disgusting in general, but to do it during National Peace Officers Memorial Week was just inexplicable. And, we just buried a 23-year-old police officer from Ohio this weekend who was ambushed. It's been a terrible year so far for law enforcement, and yet cops are still out there trying to do their job. And but Merriam, Kansas thought it'd be a good idea to spit on the grave of fallen police officers is really what they did. And so we're pushing back.
Do you have any reaction to this whole Scotty Scheffler, the golfer with the PGA championships? And, some of my coworkers said, oh, the cop sounds like the cop overreacted. I said, it was a death. It was an active death investigation. Somebody died. They had a perimeter set up. They had the road closed. And I guess the officer, I don't know if his pants were all ripped up. So, there are varying reports, but the reports are that the biggest charges are going to be dropped against this golfing star.
So I got a call that morning, I think was that Friday, from my future son-in-law, and he said, "Why did they put Scotty Scheffler in jail?" I'm like, "Who's Scotty Scheffler?" I have no idea who this guy is. So I got an earful, and so I actually reached out to a couple of my friends down there in Louisville. And come to find out what happened is it sounds like Scotty was, very confused about what was happening because, again, outside of this huge tournament, a homicide occurs. And that's what I want people to think about. So it wasn't a traffic accident. A crash. This is pedestrian versus shuttle bus. This is now a homicide. So everything, including golf, is put aside until you can investigate that homicide. And so that's what was happening. And so there was a police officer who was directing traffic. I was told that he was held over from the midnight shift. So he has nothing to do with the golf tournament. Then you have Scotty Scheffler, by all accounts, one of the nicest people in sports. And that he was confused, went around, the cop tried to stop him. And the cop got hit by Scotty's car, whether his pants got stuck in it or Scotty tried to stop it physically. The cop was banged up. His uniform was tore up. And so Scotty Scheffler got arrested. And I just want to say, and I've been saying this in the national media all weekend, Scotty Scheffler is kind of the role model of what we want in an arrestee. He actually complied with lawful orders once he figured out what was going on. He went into jail. He was processed while they turned on ESPN for him in jail, we're told, so that he could watch all the coverage about his own arrest. And then he got out and said, you know what, the cop was just doing his job, and I'm going to work this out through my attorneys. And then he just got on with the business of playing golf. He didn't trash the police. He didn't, and he is the example of our public service announcement that the National Police Association has: comply now, complain later.
Mm-hmm.
And
so he didn't say, "Do you know who I am?"
He did not, and I mean that shows the character of this young man. And he's got a 9-day-old infant. And, he's tired, and he played pretty well for a guy that just had been in jail a few hours before. But that's the thing. I think it'll all be worked out, and I'm kind of looking forward to a picture of Scotty shaking hands with the cop that arrested him, and they work it all out.
Yeah, that would be nice to show that, he's not filing a civil rights lawsuit or like we had here in Philadelphia, do you know who I am? And then gets the cop fired, the state police officer. This is somebody who, it sounds like the lawyers are doing their job, but he didn't defy. I don't really understand how it happened, but I'm sure we'll learn all the details. But I'm glad that he took accountability.
Absolutely. And it was early morning. He's in a rush. It was foggy. It was nasty. And again, not if I was and I've been on those scenes many, many times. In fact, I got hit by a car once, but, if somebody came up to me who's the most famous golfer in the world, somebody like me isn't going to know who that is.
Yes.
So, this police officer, obviously wasn't dialed into the tournament. There was a lot of private security there, but he's just trying to protect a homicide scene.
Yeah.
And, and like you said, the lawyers are going to work it all out. And you know what? That's our justice system. That's what everybody's supposed to do instead of trashing the cop or trashing the whole profession.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just does their job and gets on with business, which is how it's supposed to be.
Amen. Well, Sergeant Betsy Brantner-Smith, National Police Association. Of course, you can always go learn how the National Police Association often, helps out our officers in so many different ways. So check out the site, donate if you will. Betsy, thank you so much.
Thanks, Don. Great to talk to you, as always.
The Dawn Show is going to continue. Larry's going to be calling in, 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, it's Rich Zeoli. If you want to make lifetime memories with your family and friends, book a June midweek getaway to my happy place, the beautiful oceanfront Grand Hotel of Cape May, New Jersey. Stay 3 nights and get $60 a night in resort credit. 5 nights get you $70 a night. Stay 7 nights and get $80 a night in resort credit. And you can use the resort credits how you want to use them. Food and drinks in Hemingway's restaurant, the outdoor pool bar, their beach concession stand, or in the gift shop where you can get passes for a whale watching boat cruise. Always book direct with them for the best rates, but you gotta book soon because rooms are going fast. The Grand Hotel is also the perfect place to host a wedding, corporate events, baby showers, bridal showers, and so much more. With 4 ballrooms, they have the perfect space to make lifetime memories. Just call and ask to talk to my friend Caitlin. She'll help you book your dream event. Book your stay today at the Oceanfront Grand Hotel of Cape May, 800-257-8550 or grandhotelcapemay.com.
Introducing the Honickman Center at Jefferson Health. Outpatient care designed by patients like you. Together, we're shaping the future of medicine, where advanced technology and comprehensive services ensure convenience and accessibility for all patients. Everything you need to simplify the complexity of care is available in one location. Uncompromising care, delivered by world-class physicians. To schedule an appointment, call 1-800-JEFF-NOW.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
A warmer weather pattern returns in the Delaware Valley this week. It'll be partly sunny today with a high temperature above average at 79. Milder tonight, partly cloudy with a low 62 for the city, colder out in the suburbs, and a hot day on Tuesday with a mix of sun and clouds with a high 84.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Losing your family's home movies and photos would be devastating. That's why Legacy Box exists, to preserve your family's recorded moments digitally, ensuring they're safe forever. Think of the time and money your family invested to capture family vacations, birthdays, even your wedding. Recording a lifetime of memories was a commitment. Camcorders cost thousands, and cameras required film and development. Legacy Box is the final step to preserve your family's past. Thankfully, it doesn't require another big investment. Legacy Box is safe, simple, and affordable. Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box to convert their analog media to digital. You owe it to your family to safeguard your memories. Become your family's hero and save them before it's too late. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering an exclusive discount when you go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Isn't it time to invest in yourself? Well, how about this? Start a PI Dental Center with decades of experience in complex dental treatment, and I've been a patient of PI Dental for 20 years. Dr. Glenn Wolfinger and Dr. Robert Slough, they're board-certified prosthodontists. They specialize in the restoration and replacement of teeth, and PI Dental Center are the originators of the teeth in a day. It's a revolutionary treatment that delivers fixed teeth and implants placed for a dramatic transformation in a mere 1 day. So visit PIDentalCenter.com. That's PIDentalCenter.com to request your new patient evaluation.
Tired of your old kitchen or bathroom? Hi, Dawn Stensland here. You need to give my friends at Kitchen Magic a call. They offer no shortage of solutions for any room in your home. With a new vanity and a tub shower conversion, you're going to love that new bathroom. Kitchen Magic is a 10-year recipient of the Lehigh Valley's top workplaces. Right now, Kitchen Magic is offering 40% off installation of your remodel until May 31st. Get your free in-home consultation today. KitchenMagic.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/250. Ramp.com/250. ramp.com/250.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
You've heard me talk about my friends at Piazza Auto Group. They're awesome. Everybody in my family goes to Piazza. They're where it's at. So with this time of year, we're starting to heat up weather-wise. You're thinking about that road trip maybe this weekend or planning it for this summer. My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles are going to help you find that luxury vehicle you've been eyeing. So Piazza has thousands of new and certified pre-owned vehicles available right now from brands such as Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Jaguar. It's really Jaguar, but it could be Jaguar. I love when the English say it, Jaguar. These are some of those beautiful, powerful, sleek vehicles. I lust after these vehicles. I'm on the Schuylkill and I see that beautiful Grecale Maserati. Ooh, beautiful. Maserati's a beautiful vehicle. BMW, Porsche, Someday, I always say, someday. But visit Piazza Premium Automobiles if someday is here for you. PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com, Piazza. You can always stop by one of their Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey dealers. You're going to love Piazza. I know I do. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
So breaking news, Philadelphia. The breaking news of the moment is that, yes, all city employees in the city of Philadelphia, no more remote working for you. Everybody's got to return 100% back in full force, in person, no more Zooming it in by July 5th. Did you even know that city employees in Philadelphia were still allowed to Zoom it in? I actually didn't realize it because I thought city council came back full time. Remember, we had reported that the day they came back, and Sherelle Parker, when she was sworn in, the new mayor, she had said everybody's got to work in person. I thought they were all back, but they're not. So now it's July 5th. Can you even believe that? That is freaking ridiculous. Come on, people. And by the way, she should say by next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, after Memorial Day weekend, have the weekend off. And then by next Tuesday, not July 5th. Is Larry here? We have Larry Menti, my better half. Hey, Larry Bear, what do you think about that? The breaking news.
Well, I don't even know why they have to go back to work. They cannot work at home. They cannot work at City Hall. I don't get it. I mean, it's not going to change what they do. Nothing.
Well, the new mayor says they do have to work and get things done. But
no, she just wants them in the office. Doesn't say it says nothing about them having to work.
Oh, that's true. So they can, but at least I think she's thinking that if all these city workers have to come into work, first of all, they'll use SEPTA. They will have to eat. So, they'll have to go to the coffee shop, the restaurants, kind of spur the economy. Maybe that's a piece of it.
Yeah, but crime, I thought crime was down and that was their big thing. Now you're going to have more victims coming in.
Well, unfortunately, that's probably what the city workers are saying. They're probably saying, "Oh no."
That's right.
You know what I mean?
We're not going into that city. What are you?
They're saying, make it safer and maybe I'll come into work. Yeah, that's one of the headlines this morning. It's just, I shake my head. It's really, it's ridiculous. And by the way, since we have a population loss, when are they going to make the cuts in City Hall? Maybe they'll fire some of these people. What are the chances?
Oh no, that never happens. That never happens. You know that the power of politics are patronage shops.
Yep.
They trade them like trading cards. And as a matter of fact, that's how they keep the Republican Party at bay in the city. They just give them patronage jobs. You take so many, you be quiet, you give us bad candidates, and we'll pretend we have an election. They're not going to cut. They're not going to cut jobs ever.
So you're talking about a workforce of about 30,000 people in the city of Philadelphia. And by the way, it's obviously we in Philadelphia, the city, is one of the largest employers in in the entire region of southeastern Pennsylvania. So
yeah, no, I think they might be the biggest in Philadelphia. It's either them or it's University of Pennsylvania. It's one of the two of them. That goes back and forth.
So I wonder, I don't have the stats and the percentage of how many are working remotely full-time or maybe a couple days a week, so we'll have to dive into those stats. But Mayor Parker has put her foot down, put her high heel down, and she says by July 5th, everybody's back 100% full-time. Boom. Let's see how that goes.
Things are going to change now. Things are going to get better now. Now they're all going to work, boy. Man, improvements in the city will be palpable.
I love it. I did want to talk to you about the UPenn graduation. ongoing this morning. And in fact, I know that of the Eagles, Anthony Dorenzo, our executive producer, of course, pointing out that Brandon Brooks just graduated, getting his MBA at Wharton. He wrote, "A king fortifies himself with a castle, a gentleman with a desk." And then at Wharton School, class of 2024, blessed beyond belief, God is good. That's pretty cool.
That is great. Is there going to be protests? Do you know?
They have incredible security out there. They have all the fencing. Philadelphia police are assisting because of what's going on at Drexel University with another encampment. So UPenn has done a good job. They kept them out. Unfortunately, when they booted them out, and the vast majority are not students, we now learn that. So where did they go? They went over to Drexel. Now they're causing problems over there.
University of Pennsylvania. I'll tell you what. Once their former president was up before Congress, and they just raked her over the coals, and she was fired because of it. They have gotten their act together. Columbia still has problems. Harvard still has huge problems, and so the University of Pennsylvania should be applauded. Of the Ivy League schools, they're the ones that got their act together and handled this well.
I agree. So, take me through you're driving from Manhattan, work in Manhattan. DJT, they're back on. I know they just had a short break. Michael Cohen in the hot seat. What do you see there? I know that they're expecting, right, that this thing wraps up this week.
Well, they said to be ready for closing arguments tomorrow, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. We had a couple of reports from people waiting in line to get in, a couple of the reporters that were there, and they were saying they still don't know if the defense is going to put anybody up. But the one guy said, look, they have these 4 witnesses they want to put up, not anything dramatic, just kind of like some bookkeeping witnesses to go through what the laws are. And I know that I talked to somebody you talked to a lot, Hans von Spakovsky from the Heritage Foundation. He said that one of the guys from the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, might be testifying, just to testify. I think he's a former commissioner, just to testify, look, we made these laws. They didn't break any law. And so that'd be pretty powerful. But yeah, I think they're only going to clean up things. I don't think Donald Trump, as much as he would love to testify, I think his attorneys are going to tackle him if he tries to go up to the witness stand, because it sounds to me like right now, and I don't know what's going to happen today, they're going to try to rehabilitate Michael Cohen and try to fix some of his testimony. I don't think it's fixable. I mean, they used his own words against him. They played what he said in court to prove that he was lying. So
from his
I don't
podcast.
think it's fixable. Yeah, from his podcast. Now, I used to think that this was going to be a hung jury. I still think it's going to be a hung jury, but I think there's a chance out there that this is going to be a not guilty verdict. And just think how big that will be for Donald Trump. I mean, if this will have backfired in Alvin Bragg's face, this will have backfired in Joe Biden's face. And by the way, what's not covered enough, and I'm sure you have on WPHT, but what's not covered enough is this Matthew Colangelo and all of his connections to the Biden administration. He was number 3 in the Justice Department, and he quit to help with these cases. He's a donor. He was hired for a while as a Democratic consultant, and he's handling this case. Why is nobody screaming about that? That this guy is sent by Biden to make sure this case isn't screwed up, and he's still screwing it up. So, look, I got a feeling that this is going to go badly for Joe Biden, and this one, too, is going to blow up in his face. And then, oh, by the way, speaking of the Heritage Foundation, they, and I think Congress has now done this, have asked for Congress through the Freedom of Information Act and the power of Congress, and the Heritage Foundation through the Opens Record Act in New York, have both asked for all communication between Alvin Bragg's office and the White House. and they have been stonewalled on that. Now, this is going to start going to court. You're going to start getting lawsuits, and the House might call them in contempt of Congress. So this is going to be a big deal. And the fact that they're stonewalling, doesn't it lead you to believe there's been a lot of communications? There's been a lot of communications, just like the case in Atlanta when Fani went up and met with Kamala, and who else she met with, I don't know. But this is all,
in the White House.
Man, it's unraveling. It's all orchestrated.
And what do you make of this, this latest move by progressive activists across the country and in places like New Jersey, where they want voters to vote uncommitted to show their frustration with the Biden administration and basically in support of Hamas, as I see it, but in support, they say, of a ceasefire in Gaza. And there's that uncommitted New Jersey campaign. They want to get 50,000 plus protest votes, and this is ahead of the June 4th primary. What do you make of that, this movement by progressives across the nation? And really, it's a movement to boot Biden.
Yeah, I think there's bigger things going on than that in the boot Biden movement. That's a primary. They both Trump and Biden have got enough delegates. They're the candidates. Any non-committal votes, any votes for Nikki Haley, they really don't mean anything at this point. The bigger thing that's going on are the polls. And by the way, let me just take a shot again at all the people that say the polls don't matter. The polls matter. The Democratic National Committee is freaked out, especially by the New York Times poll that showed 5 of 6 swing states going for Donald Trump. And that just reaffirmed a lot of other polls that were saying the exact same thing. Did you notice when the New York Times poll came out, 2 days later, Joe Biden said okay to a debate? 2 days later.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because he was getting a lot of pressure. And it's also fascinating. I know everybody's making a big deal about the fact that there's going to be a June debate. About a month from now, there's going to be a June debate. I think it's happening that early because if he has a horrible debate, which is really possible, if he has a horrible debate, they have enough time to replace him before the convention.
Well, USA...
So I'm not...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's funny that you said that because USA Today is saying, hey, do the right thing by the Democrat Party, and Joe Biden, you've got all summer, just resign before August, and their number one choice, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
Yeah, it's not going to be Shapiro, and I don't think he'd take it at this point. That's a great choice. He's one of the few Democrats I like, and so I do like Josh Shapiro, but I don't think it's going to be him. I mean, they have to pry Kamala out of there. It's going to be her, but I do think it'll be an open convention, and I think she'll have some challengers. So the delegates will have the final vote. They'll get if this happens, they'll have the final vote. Now, look, I think the Biden campaign and Joe Biden himself, they're going to do everything. They're going to take every drug possible to make it through this debate in June. And if they can put an earpiece on him, they're going to put an earpiece on him. But he'll screw that up, too. They shouldn't even mess with that. But if he has a bad debate, trust me, he's out. He's out. And so this is the test to see how he can do. This is him proving himself. Because if you've noticed, there's a lot, James Carville, Axelrod, they're on TV, publicly saying he should be replaced.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they're doing it, who do they represent? That's the Clinton camp. That's the Obama camp. Yeah. There's some big voices now saying, hey, we're going to lose this. And every poll shows that. And by the way, the polls, if they're wrong for Biden. That's how bad these are. and this isn't me saying this. This is like been studied. There's a Democratic bias in the polls. So
yeah. Well, come home safely, Larry Menti, my better half. Happy Monday. Dawn Show continues right after this.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Hey, it's Greg with Kale and Company. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, but it's not too late to get in on the action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. Listen to this. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 you can use on same-game parlays, like which player will score the first basket, how many three-pointers a specific player will take, and if a player can score 25 or more points. Live bets, championship futures, and so much more. There's so many options right there in the FanDuel app. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Greg to get started. FanDuel.com/Greg. There's no better place to get in on all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I've told you over the years about Dr. Bentz and all the infrastructure he has there, but one thing that he does that you don't see in too many dental offices, with Dr. Bentz, my dentist, whether it's a